What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show again on a Thursday. You want to see the weirdest bit of news that has probably ever come out of Adam Schefter's mouth regarding the Philadelphia Eagles? Well, it's about Zeke Elliott. It's about him wanting to be an Eagle, and it's so weird. Let's just jump right into it. Here's the tweet. This came out just a couple of minutes ago. Quote, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott has narrowed down his options about where to play to the Eagles, Jets, and Bengals. He'd like to make his decision about where to sign by the end of the week per sources. Okay, today's Thursday, so that would be the next couple of days. We're going to get an actual Zeke Elliott signing here, which is insane. The craziest part, of course, being the Eagles. Schefter goes on. Eagles once signed former Cowboys running back DeMarco Murray after the Cowboys let him go. Didn't that work out very well, Philadelphia? Aaron Rodgers would be a lure to the Jets. Joe Burrow was at Ohio State in 2015 when Ezekiel Elliott was there, end quote. Oh boy, okay, yeah, I mean, this is pretty bizarre, let's just be honest. I mean, this whole idea of Zeke Elliott coming to Philadelphia has been hinted by a lot of Eagle content creators and Eagle people on Twitter. Lord Brunson, famously, is very into signing Ezekiel Elliott, and I've talked about his idea of signing him to where, yes, it made sense at the time in the fact that the Eagles needed a cheap, short yardage running back to pair with Kenny Gainwell or Miles Sanders at the time, but they signed Rashad Penny a couple of days ago, right? Isn't he the cheap, yes, often injured, but physical running back for short yardage situations Philadelphia has been looking for? Why would you then go get Zeke Elliott? I get the idea of, well, you never have too many running backs on a cheap contract, sure, but does it make sense for Philadelphia? That's my big question here, and I honestly think the answer is no. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, if they sign Zeke Elliott tomorrow, I'm going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad, because I understand the price of Zeke Elliott, if he was to actually come to Philadelphia, would be dead cheap. I mean, absolutely dirt cheap. Look at these running back numbers, right? If you go to sport or overthecap.com, Zeke's not in his prime. He's very much out of his prime. We'll look at the stats in just a second, but look at the numbers for where you could realistically expect a contract to be. For sure, a one-year deal, by the way. Philadelphia would not dabble in a multi-year contract for Zeke Elliott. He's not getting anywhere near Christian McCaffrey money. He's not getting anywhere near Saquon Barkley money. He's getting, wait for it, scroll all the way down, Kenneth Walker money, DeAndre Swift money, Damian Harris, 1.7, James Cook, J.K. Dobbins, 1.4. If the Eagles do sign Zeke, and I don't think they're going to, but Zeke's narrowed down his list to 3 teams, Philadelphia is one of them, it'll be for less than $2 million. And I'll be honest, even myself, a Cowboy hater and someone who thinks Zeke Elliott is super annoying just from the fact he was a Cowboy's entire career, can't argue with the fact that Zeke for less than $2 million would be a, quote, bad idea. It could be a pretty good idea. Now, if it's anything more than that, totally out. All the way out. Absolutely, no thank you. But even you commenting down on my show right now saying, I don't want Zeke no matter how much, have to admit, for $1.5 million on a one-year deal to play short yardage running back situation, wouldn't you want the Eagles to go ahead and get him? It's tough. It's very tough. I'll just say that. Now, it's mainly tough due to the fact that Zeke Elliott has not been the same running back in a couple of years. Now, with that being said, what does the same running back mean? Well, when we think prime Zeke Elliott, we think 2018 Zeke Elliott, or really his rookie year, 2016. But 2018 Zeke Elliott, he had 304 carries, which is insane. 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and averaged 95 a game. His first 3 seasons, he averaged 95 plus a game, including, again, 2016. But when you look back at last season, it's the injuries that have piled up for Zeke, and it's the drop in carries. And by drop in carries, 70 drop in carries overall from where he used to be during his peak at about 300. 231 last year, 876 yards. He still did have 12 touchdowns. Believe it or not, Zeke Elliott did have 12 touchdowns. And so, while I've said before, I'm out on the Eagles drafting Bijan Robinson. Well, I've started to kind of come around because I understand what Howie Roseman might be thinking for Philadelphia. This would be an all-in move. Bijan is an all-in move. This would be an all-in move. There are a bunch of all-in moves that he could go out there and make to further solidify the idea that, hey, look around the rest of the NFC. Which teams scare you? And seriously, which teams scare you in the NFC right now? Oh, the 49ers are pretty good. They don't have a quarterback. Oh, the Dallas Cowboys, they got Brandon Cooks. Their quarterback throws a lot of interceptions. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins can't play on prime time. The Packers and Jordan Love, they're going to be losing Aaron Rodgers. I mean, seriously, go down the list of teams that actually scare you. Not many of them are present. And so as an Eagle fan or somebody who roots for the Philadelphia Eagles or likes the Philadelphia Eagles, you understand that with Jalen Hurts, 2 first-round draft picks, and the current roster as it stands, especially offensively, this team is ready built to run through the NFC yet again. And honestly, if you feel like they need another running back and you're Howie Roseman, then Zeke's not a terrible idea. I think the problem we have as Eagle fans is we see Zeke Elliott as a Cowboy. we see Zeke Elliott as a Dallas Cowboy who really has had some big games against the Philadelphia Eagles in the past, and he does this stupid let's eat hand motion that all of us hate. Trust me, I cannot emphasize enough how annoying it is, but at the same time, I think about the idea of signing him for cheap because, again, the emphasis of this show is not to me say I want Zeke or I don't want Zeke. The emphasis is if you get Zeke, it's very, very cheap. It's not going to cost you a lot. And it's Zeke Elliott coming over on a 1-year cheap as dirt deal where he basically says, hey, Cowboys, let me go. Screw Dallas. I'm going to go to their rivals, Philadelphia. I'm going to take nothing to go ahead and play there. Less than $1.5 million, $2 million to be really a third option at running back or maybe a second option, depending on what you feel about Rashad Penny, alongside Kenny Gainwell, and create a read option offense with Jalen Hurts running the football and Jalen Hurts passing the football to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That could be pretty darn exciting. And so I'm out for now. But if they sign him and the number is right, I will come on this show and I will tell you, hey, let's see what happens. And I think that's the best option we have right now. I'm just still in shock the fact that it's late afternoon on a Thursday and Adam Schefter is saying Zeke wants to be an Eagle. He wants to be with the Bengals, which I think makes a little bit of sense, and he wants to be the Jet. Now, the Jets would be my guess, but it's a pretty crowded running room up there in New York, and is that another kind of drama-y player alongside OBJ that the Jets might be trying to sign? Who knows? Now, we do know that Zeke wants to play in his number 15 jersey, and that comes here from Buckeyes Nation, or Buckeyes Now on SI.com, where Zeke said, quote, I want number 15 back. Really, it comes from his Twitter account, but you see it on your screen right now, and so Philadelphia obviously would have to make sure that that is available. Not really, because if Zeke's coming over again, take whatever number you want. If 15's taken, don't worry about it and move on. So I'm curious your guys' thoughts. I think the comments is going to be completely split in two on this. There'll be people down below that say, go get Zeke. I'm all in on Zeke. I want to get Zeke. And there'll be people who say, I don't want Zeke at all. And I land in the middle. And I know it's kind of dumb to be landing in the middle, like Lord Brunson, big-time Zeke guy. We talked about Josh Davis, Philly Special Show, not so much a Zeke guy. And you got these two different Eagle people, both of which I think are really great, but I kind of land in the middle. And I don't want it to be a cop-out, but again, for that cheap, who wouldn't you sign? I mean, think about Odell Beckham Jr., right? OBJ, headache, often injured, hasn't had, an OBJ season in a very, very long time. If the Eagles signed OBJ tomorrow for $3 million to be wide receiver 3, we would all be like, oh my gosh, this is great. Well, $3 million for a formerly superstar wide receiver, doesn't have to be the number one option at wide receiver, I would take him. That's how I feel about Zeke Elliott. Often injured, probably not going to play 17 games, past his prime, can be a little bit of a drama queen, but for $2 million, probably the price to sign him, you kind of sit back and go, hey, you can't argue with that. So we'll see. My guess is he's going to be a Jet. I think that Aaron Rodgers is trying to go ahead and compile, the Avengers up there in New York for one last run. He's on a revenge tour. I think he's going to gather in players who are also on revenge tours. Think about Odell Beckham Jr. Think obviously about bringing in Zeke Elliott. Bengals is iffy there with what Joe Mixon, does. I think that the Eagles would probably be third on that list. But hey, I don't know what Zeke Elliott's thinking about. If Zeke is serious about really running through the Cowboys twice a year and wants to sign with their rival, then you have Boston Scott, who guarantees you beat the Giants twice a year, and maybe you sign Zeke Elliott, who could guarantee to beat the Cowboys twice a year. That alone would be worth the $1.5 million you're paying Boston Scott, and I don't know, $2.1 million you'd be paying Zeke Elliott. So who knows, man? We'll cover it here. It's so bizarre. I try and emphasize when things are bizarre. This is bizarre. I want to see your thoughts. Thumbs up for craziness on a Thursday. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.